Hi everyone, James Blacklaw with JB Commercial Finance here. It's Tuesday the 25th of January. I hope everyone is well. I've not done a video for a couple of weeks, so apologies if you do follow these. But it's been a little bit hectic and I've done a lot on Facebook. So if you want to find me on Facebook to keep up to date with videos, then please do so. But I'm doing this one today because it finally seems someone in the government has got a bit of found a bit of backbone with regard to the bounce back loans. A Tory minister has resigned in anger over COVID fraud. Lord Agnew, who's a new one to me, has left the House of Lords, saying that the government, or Treasury in this case, is little interest in the consequences of fraud to our society. And that's been done on the back of the bounce back loan and the government's basic declaration that they believe 11%, which is £4.9 billion of bounce back loans have been claimed fraudulently. Following on in September, the announcement by the British Business Bank that £1.3 billion has already been defaulted on, but £2 billion has been repaid already. So that's good news. So let's wait and see what the long-term consequences are. But it's really interesting that this has made the headlines now, after this has been thick end of 2 years that these loans actually have been out there. And most people, like myself, guys in the know, or guys in the know, guys who actually can see what's happening, I see this was going to happen from the start. And I have to say that a figure of 4.9 billion is incredibly low. Now, if we're talking about loans which have been applied for with an absolute specific purpose of being used fraudulently, either people are going to take that money and run with no intention of ever paying it back, or it'll be taken out for criminal purposes, then it's highly possible that figure is accurate. If indeed you apply a bit more of a lenient kind of criteria as to what fraud actually constitutes, i.e. people are applying for loans and they apply for loans and not answered the questions accurately, which is mortgage fraud, or in this case a bank fraud. So for instance, you had to borrow a percentage of your turnover. So if you borrowed £50,000, your turnover had to be a minimum of 200. Well, at self-certification, if you're turning over £40,000 and put 200, you could still borrow the 50 grand. Or alternatively, you had to say your business was a sound financial standing when you applied and your business has been impacted by COVID. If either of these things you ticked incorrectly or deliberately incorrectly, then that's still fraud. And I suspect, in all honesty, talking to people that I do, whether it's in the banks or accountants, whoever it may be, and what I see, that around about 50% of loans are actually claimed on a fraudulent basis. Doesn't mean they're not going to be repaid, as people will do their best to repay them, and people borrowed more than they were entitled to simply because they wanted to benefit from the cheap rate and the good terms for the bounce back loan. So let's wait and see. But if we're resigning over that figure, let's wait and see actually when defaults start to happen over the next 2-3 years and see what the Treasury's credibility is like then. I don't think there's coincidence that Rishi Sunak is being lined up by many as a run for the big prize of Prime Minister now to replace Boris Johnson, bearing in mind he knows what's going to happen to the bounce back loan figures over the upcoming couple of years when it happened on his watch. So let's wait and see, but it's interesting and it's good this is now being highlighted in the general news pages. I will put the link to the BBC News page in the description below. Any likes, comments are really appreciated. Anyone's got any questions about this or any other aspect of business lending, please get in touch. Take care, everyone.